Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about spatial audio with dynamic head tracking on the Intel-based MacBook Pro and also other Intel-based Mac systems. So recently Apple decided to introduce spatial audio with dynamic head tracking for their iPhone and iPads, and they've also additionally added supportive software for the AirPods Pro and the AirPods Max, and a few weeks ago they have also launched the AirPods 3rd generation. That way it's able to also support the same feature. A lot of people have been saying that they cannot get the feature to work no matter what they do, even while following the prior guide, so I did decide to do some further research into what's going on. And to my surprise, when I updated my Intel-based Mac from the current beta of macOS Monterey it was on to the latest, it does look like they did remove spatial audio with dynamic head tracking from the latest beta of macOS Monterey for the Intel-based Mac. Additionally, I did want to try and see if Apple can comment on the issue, so I did send an email to Apple's media department, and unfortunately they did not respond back to me. Today, while doing a little bit more digging prior to making this video, I did find two sources on their website that show that the Intel-based Mac will not support spatial audio, unfortunately. The two methods that I have here to show you is one, the Compare Mac model, and also there is an article that shows here that the MacBook Pro introduced in 2021 will be the only MacBook Pro that supports spatial audio for the AirPods Pro, AirPods Max, and AirPods 3rd generation. Mind you, this article was just published as of November 1st, 2021, so it is very new information. So under the Compare Mac models, if you go ahead and select the 2020 Intel-based Mac, and go ahead and select the 2020 13-inch M1 based Mac, and the MacBook Pro 14-inch that was introduced this year in 2021, and just to scroll down and show you, you can see here that this says Intel. This is the M1 chip, and this is the M1 Pro and M1 Max chip. If you scroll all the way down to the section that says audio, you can see here that it says spatial audio with dynamic head tracking when using AirPods 3rd generation, AirPods Pro, and AirPods Max. But then when you look over underneath both the M1 2020 Mac and the 13-inch MacBook Pro with the Intel chip, the feature's not showing there. This is very unfortunate because even on my my M1 based MacBook Pro that I'm currently filming this on, which I'll show you really quick, was built in 2021, and it says Apple M1, has the support for spatial audio, but it looks like they will be removing it from this model as far as their both of their articles are concerned. Putting my AirPods in my ears, you can see under sound there's the ability to turn spatial audio on and off. And as I mentioned in the prior video, if you play it from music, it'll show up like you don't have the feature. But if you play audio from the browser, such as a song on YouTube, you can then see that for sound it updates to spatialized stereo. So I don't know what's going on with the feature as of this point. It looks like the feature won't be available for the Intel-based Mac, and it also won't be available for the M1-based 2020 Mac. But it's hard to tell because even currently with it showing on the M1 Mac, the software is buggy, so it's not working in the music application, but works on the browser, which is kind of strange because the feature is supposed to be an additional feature to help aid Dolby Atmos spatial audio. So it's just kind of strange. It kind of doesn't make sense. It almost seems more like Apple's having software trouble with implementing it, and that's why they can't get it to work. Especially being that the M1 based MacBook Pro has more processing power than an iPhone and an iPad that doesn't have the M1 based chip. And both of those types of devices support spatial audio with dynamic head tracking, which of course is due to the fact that none of it is processed really on the device, and most of it is processed on the AirPods. Using the microphones and also the accelerometers, they collect that information and are able to move the audio around your head space as you're moving your head from left to right. So it almost seems more like either it's a software issue, or it maybe is a thing where Apple's using that to try and get people to upgrade to newer Macs that, of course, not everybody needs. Like in my case, I don't need that because I literally just upgraded. But unfortunately, that is the information that I do currently have. And hopefully, somehow, Apple decides to change their mind and include the feature for everyone, because it's just unfair that they haven't added the feature for every device and are kind of like using it as like a thing to force people to upgrade at this point. That's just kind of how I'm seeing it. But I do want to thank you guys so much for tuning into my channel. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, thumbs this video up if you liked it, and I hope to see you on the next YouTube video.